In 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson declared an unconditional war on poverty. Johnson said people would look back at the 1960s as the great American breakthrough toward the victory of prosperity over poverty. However, 50 years later, and after trillions of taxpayer dollars spent, the poverty rate has only inched lower, which begs the question, did poverty win?
If you think what's working right now works, then we shouldn't be reforming our poverty programs. The point is, they're not working.
Congressman Paul Ryan has spent months traveling to the poorest areas of the country to determine if dozens of federal poverty programs are actually working. Congressman Ryan recently released a House Budget Committee report titled "The War on Poverty 50 Years Later." Ryan spoke exclusively with the MacIver Institute as we traveled with him to several listening sessions throughout the 1st Congressional District.
When we took a look at the war on poverty, given that we're in the 50th anniversary, we wanted to see, is there a listing of all the programs out there that the federal government does to fight poverty, and just a rating of how well they're doing. There was no such thing. So that's why we put this report together, to try and add it all up, line it up side by side, look at the available literature on their success or failures, and quantify it. And what we have to ask ourselves is, do these programs work well? Do they make sense? Some do, some don't. And can we do a better job?
During a stop in Racine, Ryan explained that government programs have actually created barriers to work and, in effect, are keeping people in poverty.
Work is the bridge to a better life. It's the bridge out of poverty. And the problem with our government's programs, inadvertent as it may be, is that they're erecting barriers to work. The whole thing I've been talking about Obamacare is the CBO just told us the other day about the equivalent of 2.3 million jobs will not be worked by the year 2019 or something like that because of Obamacare. The point I'm making is, when you have all these benefits and then you lose them when you go to work, it tells people you're worse off going to work. We're raising taxes on the poor by cutting them off of these benefits as they try to improve their lives. That's the issue I'm trying to get at, which is we have to rethink our war on poverty in our programs so that it always pays to work, because we have these incentives to people not to work. That's the whole point I'm trying to make.
Ryan also discussed some of his experiences traveling to these poor areas of the country and said he is hopeful there is still time to win the fight against poverty.
If you can go into various neighborhoods and see the good things that are happening, it gives you a lot of inspiration. It gives you hope. Go tour Running Rebels in Milwaukee and see this mentor program that they put in place to get young kids who have troubled backgrounds get on their feet and get on the right path in life. Look at violence-free zones. Go to Pulaski High School. They had 14 gangs in Pulaski High School 2 years ago. Now they have no gangs. They have this mentorship program consisting of people who went through tough times in life, people who are in gangs themselves, making sure that these kids get on the right path. And graduation rates are going up, tardiness is going down, people are getting the right way. I was in San Antonio, in western San Antonio, in the barrio, with a ministry called Outcry in the Barrio, where they're taking heroin addicts off the street, bringing them into their program, and if they go through their program, they have about a 60 to 80% success rate of making sure that people of getting people off of heroin for good. There are so many good things that are happening out there. I call them these sort of antibodies in our communities that are fighting against the trend, that are actually giving people hope, and what it involves is people getting involved.
The congressman said it is imperative that individuals get involved in their communities because for too long, many people have assumed the fight against poverty was not their problem.
People have been just sort of given this notion that pay your taxes and government will fix this problem, don't worry about it. That's not true. Because if poverty were just about material deprivation, in some cases it is, but it's also more than that. It's about, like I say, isolation. It's about addiction. It's about being stuck in a failing school or abuse or needing a mentor. That means people need to get involved. That means people in their communities need to see and fight poverty eye to eye, soul to soul, person to person. And I think you cannot underestimate or understate the importance of that.
Ryan continues to seek ideas on how to combat poverty in America and is expected to introduce new policies in the coming months. For the MacIver Institute, I'm Jen Healy.